Hello and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity. I am here, friends, to invite you to watch Lost along with me. So I'm going to announce that I plan on doing a series of videos where I review Lost. Lost now has been one of my favorite shows of all time. I mention it every time I do like a top 10 list of some of my favorite shows. Previously I've done a series of videos where I review each season, but that's more of like an overview of the season. I don't really get into the episodes in particular. I more talk about like the behind the scenes stuff and how it relates to the ending of the show, which was subpar in many people's opinions, including mine. And also I did like a top 10 episodes or whatever, but I haven't really delved deeply, like really deep into this show. And I've been watching some other videos on YouTube, and that really got me inspired to sort of do a full-on review of Lost. Now, so what the plan is, I don't really have time to do like one video per episode because that would take forever and it would be very time consuming. I had originally planned to do Lost after I did Babylon 5, where, you know, I would Voyager and Babylon 5, I did like a video a month to cover the entire season. So I planned to do that with Lost, but then I thought, nah, with Babylon 5, I'd gotten away from Star Trek, and people kind of wanted me to get back to Star Trek, so I wanted to do Deep Space Nine next. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll just do Lost after I do Deep Space Nine. But then I thought, no, because then that's pushing it off like too long. It's like 7-8 months away. I don't want to wait that long. Plus, I decided to do a different format. Rather than just do a season a month, which I have to like do an hour-long video and cram like an entire season's worth of review into 1 hour-long video, I thought it would be better to spread it out more. Even though I can't do one video per an episode, I thought I would split the seasons into pieces and review little sections of episodes, which I will release every 2 weeks. So for the first 3 seasons, since they're about 22 to 25 episodes long, I'm going to split those into 3 videos. So I'll split each season to a third, and I'll do like part 1 of season 2, part 2 of season 1, and part 3 of season 1, and then the same thing with season 2, same thing with season 3. Now the last 3 seasons are a bit shorter. They're about between 14 and 18 episodes, so those I'll actually split in half. So when I get to season 4 and 5 and 6, I'll do season 5 part 1, season 5 part 2, and then move on to season 6 or whatever. So basically each video is looking at covering between like 7 and 9 episodes, like around that sort of ballpark thing. Now with season 1, I'm gonna split each one into 8 episodes, although if you consider Exodus part 2, if you consider that 2 episodes, if you consider Exodus 3 parts instead of 2 parts, then really the third video will cover 9 episodes, but whatever. Really, so the announcement here is in 2 weeks I will release my review for the first 8 episodes of season 1 of Lost, and then after that, every 2 weeks I'll release another video covering the next 8 or so episodes of Lost, so you can watch along with me. Now, I call this an invitation because for those who haven't seen the show before, or maybe those who started watching the show but kind of dropped off because it got a bit boring or whatever, or maybe some who have seen the show in its entirety before, I invite you to watch along with me, and then so watch the first 8 episodes and then watch my review and sort of get your feedback, whatever. It'd be interesting to get some opinions. I'm really curious to get some opinions of people who haven't seen the show before. So I'm actually going to do these reviews, these videos, spoiler free. That is, they will not contain spoilers from later episodes or later part of the season. So for example, my first video will cover the first 8 episodes of season 1, so it won't contain spoilers beyond episode 8. Will contain spoilers up to episode 8, so you can't really watch, like, say, episode 2 and then watch my video up to episode 2 and pause it and then watch episode 3 and go watch my video, because I don't really structure it that way. I give spoilers throughout the entire video up to the end of episode 8, so you have to watch all 8 episodes first, then watch my video. But I won't give spoilers beyond episode 8. So if you haven't seen the whole show, you haven't seen later seasons, you don't want the ending spoiled, anything like that, you're all good. You're safe to that way. Because when I did my other reviews of Lost, I made those completely spoiled. They contained spoilers because I wanted to talk about the ending. So I did get a few comments saying I really want to watch it because I just recently watched season 1. I just recently watched season 2 of Lost, but I can't watch your videos because you're giving away the ending of the show. So I thought this time I'd do it so I'm not giving away the ending of the show, so you can watch along with me. Now, for those who have seen the ending of the show, though, you might want to hear me talk about these set of episodes and how they compare to what they did with them. So I will have a spoiler section at the end of each video that will cover spoilers containing all the way up to the end of the show. But I'll give a spoiler warning before I do that, and that'll be at the end of the video, so anyone who hasn't seen the entire show can tune out then. And then come back and watch that once they have seen the entire show. So I sincerely invite any fan of my channel, anyone who likes to hear what I said, to go ahead and watch Lost along with me. You can start now with the first 8 episodes, and I will have my video for episodes 1 through 8 out in 2 weeks, and then each week after that will be 2 weeks after. Every 2 weeks I'll release another part. Now, one thing I've also decided to do, so there's actually going to be a month break between seasons. So when I do, like, for example, part 3 of season 1, there'll be a month later before I get to part 1 of season 2, if you know what I'm saying. Because I've also decided to do another series of videos, which will coincide with the 2-week mark, about how I would write Lost. It's sort of how to fix Lost, or if I were going to redo Lost, how would I write it? Because especially on this rewatch now, I keep thinking about how the show, I love the show, but it could have been better, and there was a lot of issues with it throughout, especially knowing where it goes. Now, these videos, however, unfortunately, will contain full spoilers up to the end of the show, so unfortunately you can't watch these videos unless you have seen the entire show, otherwise they'll spoil stuff. So if you haven't seen the show, you're watching along with me, you'll have to wait until you've seen the whole show, and then you can come back and watch it. But I'm gonna do one for each season, so I'll release it along the schedule date, if you know what I'm saying. So, like, I'll release part 1 of season 1, 2 weeks later I'll release part 2 of season 1, 2 weeks later I'll release part 3 of season 1, and then I'm going to release how I would write season 1 2 weeks later, and then I'll move on to season 2 2 weeks later, do part 1, 2, 3 2 weeks apart, and after I do part 3 of season 2, 2 weeks later I'll do how I would write season 2 of Lost. 2 weeks after that, and 2 weeks after that I'll get into season 3, if you know what I'm saying. Boom, boom, boom. So it's going to be a very regular 2-week schedule. Now that I'm making my videos in advance, hopefully I will be able to keep with this schedule strictly. And the How I Would Write Lost series is really, it's not, even though I'm releasing it one season at a time because they're going to be long. If I try to do the entire show in one video, it would end up being way too long. But they're not self-contained. It's not like, oh, this is how I would write season 1, this is how I would write season 2. They're not self-contained. It's how I would write the entire show, because each season is going to build off another. It's sort of my fan fiction, and I make no apologies or no, like, I'm not trying to deceive people. It is straight up fan fiction, but it's not so much as, I'm not kind of putting down the writers of saying this is what you should have done, because there's a lot of external factors I realize that wasn't their fault, and also I'm completely 100% Monday morning quarterbacking here. I'm totally looking back in hindsight, and also, like, there's a lot of factors of the time in the network that was released in 2004, so I'm more of looking at a reboot, really. So this isn't necessarily what I think they should have done. It's more of, if they reboot the show, this is how a reboot should go, in my opinion. And so I would sort of write what changes I would make, and of course these changes are going to balloon, whereas season 1, season 2 is going to very closely resemble the actual season 1 and season 2, which some differences, changes here and there. But by the time I get to like season 5 or season 6, it's going to be totally different. It's not going to resemble what actually aired at all, particularly season 6, because you know how much I hate season 6. There will be very little resemblance to it, so it's going to be like George R. R. Martin calls the butterfly effect. So my series for that will be, it will be 6 parts. It won't be, it won't be self-contained for each season. It would just be 6 parts of one vision I have for how I would reboot the show. Again, it's kind of my fan fiction, but I keep thinking about this, so I thought it would be fun to do. So I'm going to sprinkle these in with my reviews of each episode of Lost, because when the season's still fresh in my mind, I'll cover that particular season. But again, so if you haven't seen the entire show, you don't want to spoil it, you skip those videos, so you'll have a month break to get caught up on the first episodes of the next season. But anyway, and I will let you know how many episodes I will cover in each episode before, so you can watch them in advance before I release the episode. So if you want to watch along with me, you can watch those 8 episodes. So I'm telling you now, episodes 1 through 8, ending with episode 8, Confidence Man of season 1. That will be my first video, and then 2 weeks after that, next 8 episodes. Anyway, I hope to get some people joining me to watch Lost along with me. And if you do, please leave your comments, your feedback. I love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you next time.